One of the questions that I've been asked when I rode the 400 Speed Twin is what would I choose between the 400 Triumph and the Guerrilla Royal Enfield 450. So I'm going to try and give my thoughts having just got off this bike and comparing them to the 400. In terms of power, not a lot in it, both 40 brake horsepower. I would say this kicks in the power at lower down revs, but neither felt breathless, neither felt like you were missing power. So both absolutely fine on that respect. Say compared to the 350 Classic that I rode about 18 months ago, you could feel that there was a lack of power of that. It certainly wasn't wanting, you know, it had power and it could do everything that you wanted it to do, but this is more powerful and it stops better as well. But compared to the Triumph Speed 400, I would say they're in the same ballpark. In terms of looks, I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. On first glance, the Triumph looks perhaps slightly better quality and more in keeping with the Triumph brand. So you could look at a glance at a Speed 400 going past and a Speed 900 or 1200, and unless you were like looking closely, you wouldn't know the difference. Whereas this Royal Enfield, it doesn't fit into the rest of the brand. Now that's not a criticism, it's just different, and it's not even a problem. But the Triumph looks more like a Triumph. This looks more like a out of keeping of Royal Enfield's normal style, their normal retro 60s, 50s style, a bit more urban. So that's considered, depending on what your preference is. My preference would probably be, I would have said the Triumph before actually seeing this, but seeing it in the flesh, this 90s style is really growing on me. So the styling wise, I would go with this. Riding comfort, I would go with the Triumph. I think it was just a little bit better laid out in terms of the comfort, the handlebars and the mirrors. But again, there's not a lot to choose between the two. Same goes with the screen, the TFT screen. I don't think there's much to choose between the two. They've both got two modes from memory. This certainly has an eco mode and a sport mode with a little one press button on the handlebar to adjust that. Though you have to stop to adjust that. I can't remember what it was on the Triumph. I'll look it up and I'll add it down here on the video. Let's find out, shall we? So 780mm, as I say, and I can get 1 foot comfortably on the ground. I'm 5'3", but I do have my other foot on the foot peg. Obviously, my hand on the brake to hold the bike in place. In terms of seat height, 780mm, I believe. I'll put it on the bottom of the screen. You can see I am on my toes if I have both feet kind of like, you know, even. But in terms of put 1 foot down straight quite comfortably, and it's easy to move, very easy to rock with your feet. And again, as I said before, key to have good boots for that, but very light. It says. There we go. Give it a second to warm up. You can hear like the automatic choke kicking because it started off quite low revs and now it's ticking over at just over 2,000 RPM. Hopefully you can hear that. It's got quite a nice rumble from that exhaust. Not the prettiest looking exhaust known to man, but it's, you know, it's that urban-y style. It's almost how does it sound? Hopefully you can pick that up quite well on the microphone. It sounds pretty nice. It sounds not too dissimilar to what my Bonneville sounded like before I changed the exhaust. Nice. If you were taking a Pillion, I don't think many people would be using this as a regular Pillion riding tool. I'm no doubt it can do it. It's got 40 brake horsepower. It's got plenty of power to do it. I would say actually with those grip handles, I'd say that's probably better. Probably better. Both do, well, this does 83 miles per gallon. The Speed 400 says it does 80. So again, there's not a lot in it. In terms of accessories, probably go with the Triumph, because I guess there'd be more available for that, because there's a really good back market with Triumph. But then you've got Hitchcocks and things like that for Royal Enfield, so there might be plenty on that as well. There really isn't a lot in it. I reckon it just comes down to personal preference on the style. Movability, going around town, things like that, I think the Triumph was better. I found it more comfortable. Things that would make it better for this would be the adjustments on the clutch lever and the brake. There's not one on either, so I think I would change both of them, and then the slow moving around town becomes a completely different ball game with this bike. I have to double check whether the Triumph had them, but I certainly never felt like I needed to adjust them, so it was instantly more comfortable. But if you were taller, had longer fingers, you wouldn't even notice that. And most bikes I ride, I don't, but on this one, not the brake, the clutch, definitely did. Styling on the engine, only just because I'm just looking at it. So I spoke earlier about the styling of the paintwork and the plastic bits and the metal of the tank. The styling of the engine, the Triumph looks nicer where it's got, again, keeping in within the Triumph modern classic brand, you've got that fake air-cooled style look. And I think that looks a bit nicer than this engine that's from the Himalayan. But again, it's not a massive thing. Oh, I just noticed that's plastic. Didn't notice that at first. Make that metal and it'd be a bit better. If I was pushed, it would be the Speed 400. I'd pay the extra few £100 for that. But if you preferred the styling of this, I don't think you'd be disappointed with it. Both great bikes, and it's absolutely fantastic that the modern manufacturers, big manufacturers like Triumph, Royal Enfield, Honda, KTM, BMW, they're building small bikes again. I said this on the Triumph Speed 400 video. It's like, how did it take 30 years for these manufacturers to realise that people like small bikes? People don't need some big, huge monster of a 4-cylinder machine just to ride about, especially if they're using the bike either for commuting, as a tool for delivering, which I'm sure people will use this, companies will use this, or going for a ride on a Sunday. You don't need something big. And even going further than that, both this and the Speed 400, you could tour on. You know, it's not that big a deal to add some saddlebags to this, or a top box or something, or a tank bag. It's not going to change how it performs. It's got plenty of torque to do that. And it's 80 miles per gallon, so it's not drinking fuel, so it's economical. It'll be cheaper to tax, cheaper to insure, and in most cases a light bike is easy to move about and it's much more enjoyable than some big heavy thing that you're sweating but just by getting it out your shed or your garage. So both are brilliant motorcycles. So I hope that's been useful. If you've got questions, put them down in the comments. I will answer them. I'll reply to everyone if I can. And thank you for watching this video. Hopefully it's been useful to compare the two bikes. If it has, give me a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And I will see you next time. Thank you.